thinking about switching from a sport bike to a KLR? Well, stay tuned. I'll talk to you about my experiences of going from a Ducati Monster to a KLR 650. Here we go. So if you're thinking about doing this switch, there's probably a few reasons why. You're thinking about hitting the open road, getting some dirt under your tires, and taking your bike across the world. Well, pretty much that's what happened to me too. I looked around for a KLR 650. This is a 2008 Kawasaki KLR, and at the time I bought it, it had 4,000 miles. And I picked it up for $2,800. You can't even come close to any other adventure bike for $2,800 that can do as much of the stuff that this KLR can. So at that price, I had to say yes. Earlier that week, I sold my Monster 696. I took that cash, I bought this thing, and I had some cash left over. Can't really beat it. For $2,800, I had a fully running motorcycle with 4,000 miles. And it came with the panniers. So it was a deal I couldn't say no to. The first thing you're going to notice, going from anything modern back to a KLR, is the lack of horsepower. It is slow. It is like beginner bike slow. It is like that Ninja 250 you had slow. Yeah, it can go 100, and yeah, it's got torque, which does save it a lot. It saves it and keeps it fun, is that torque picking you up to speed, but there's not much speed after that. You've probably read all over the forums how this bike is terrible on the freeway. And let me tell you firsthand, it's not great. It's not great at all. It hates being at 85 miles an hour. 70 all day, you'll be fine at 70. 75, you're okay. 80, okay, you're kind of pushing the motor. You feel the vibration, the single cylinder kind of telling you, hey, there's not much here. You should turn around. 85, you keep pushing and it's telling you, hey, this is 40 horsepower. You calm down. If you're at 90, it starts telling you, hey, this fun is for somewhere else. And that's what this bike is about. It ain't going on the freeway 90 miles an hour all day across state lines. Like, no. This is sit back, enjoy, get your hands and your feet up on this comfortable seating position and enjoy the ride. You've got beautiful highways ahead, you've got wild adventures ahead, and there's really no need to rush in. That's what this bike reminds me of every time I'm on the freeway. Mostly because there's lack of choice, because it doesn't really like being in that 80, 85. The favorite part about this bike though is after that long road trip that you powered through, you muscled through all those miles, you finally get to exit, go on some dirt trails, and start enjoying what this bike can do. I'm not the best off-roader, but after I switched out the tires into these Shinko 705s, there's so much more grip, and I feel like my skill got better. Going through ruts, sand, going through, I haven't done rocks. That scares me. River crossings, up hills and down hills. Man, it's a blast. At that point, I could care less that it hates going 90 miles an hour, because it loves going 30 miles an hour over sand, over dirt. So that, that is a whole different atmosphere that you didn't have when you had a sport bike. Another thing that's going to catch you off guard is the braking. The braking sucks. It's absolutely shitty on the KLR. It's a suggestion. You hit the brakes and you're like, no, I'll stop. Sure, you've convinced me. I'll start slowing down. When you've got these twin piston, dual caliper, inverted fork, sport nakeds, I'll stop on a dime. This bike goes, yeah, okay, I'll stop soon. It's not the same response rate. I switched mine over to a stainless steel brake lines because I had to get something back. The brake line on this thing is this long, and it's all rubber. So switching it to a stainless at least gave me some feeling back to my handle. So braking was a big adjustment for me. Next thing that surprised me going from a sport bike to a KLR is the gas capacity. This thing has a 5.5 gallon gas tank. I can go 200 miles before filling up. 200, not 90, not 110, 200. Your butt will go out first before the gas does. Next pleasant surprise for me was being able to finish a ride and feeling pretty good. My back isn't sore, my wrists don't hurt. I just rode 100 miles and feel good. I've got another 100 in the tank and I'm just gonna go get a Twinkie and get back on the road. So if you're deciding to go from a sport bike to a KLR, I say do it. You're gonna lose a good amount of the things that you enjoy about your sport bike. You're gonna miss the horsepower. You're gonna miss the aggressive looks. You're gonna miss leaning in and cutting corners real tight and holding that line. But you know what you get? You get to open up trails. You get to open up sand, river crossings. You get to open up adventure, which pretty hard to say no to. So if you're thinking about making a switch to finally live that dream of traveling across country, cross states, and loading up some gear on a bike, just do it. You got nothing to lose. Or you can just own two bikes like I do and have an Aprilia and a KLR. Solves the problem.